Welcome back to Netrush Report, your home for everything tennis. The drama, the emotion, and the stories that make the sport so much more than just a game. If you love tennis beyond the scoreline, from rivalries to resilience, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and turn on notifications, because this one is all about the fight, the friendship, and the future of Carlos Alcaraz. Let's start from the beginning, where the storm started brewing. Just days after capturing another title at the Japan Open, beating Taylor Fritz in a spectacular final, Carlos Alcaraz suddenly pulled out of the Shanghai Masters. The reason? A left ankle injury picked up during his opening match in Tokyo. It seemed minor at first. He even went on to win the Japan Open. But behind the scenes, things weren't quite right. Sources close to the camp said Alcaraz had been managing discomfort for several days, and his team decided not to take chances. The ATP calendar is brutal, and with the Six Kings Slam, Paris Masters, and ATP finals looming, rest became a priority. Fans feared the worst. On social media, speculation swirled. Was this more serious than they were letting on? After all, this wasn't the first time injury had forced Alcaraz to pause. In 2023 and 2024, hamstring and forearm issues had interrupted his flow. Every time he got rolling, something pulled him back. But this time felt different. Why? Because Alcaraz wasn't just any rising star anymore. He was the world number one, with 6 Grand Slams to his name and a reputation for rewriting the limits of tennis at just 22 years old. As the news broke about his withdrawal, fans noticed another absence, one that raised eyebrows. Juan Carlos Ferrero, Alcaraz's longtime coach and mentor, wasn't in Tokyo. He also wasn't at the Laver Cup. In his place stood Samuel Lopez, Alcaraz's second coach. Lopez had been helping guide the Spaniard in Ferrero's absence, but something felt missing. The sight of Alcaraz without Ferrero, the man who had molded him since 2019, the man who saw a skinny teenager with wild potential and turned him into the youngest world number one in ATP history, felt almost symbolic. It reminded fans of how deeply intertwined their journeys are. Ferrero isn't just a coach. He's a former world number one himself, the 2003 French Open champion, and someone who understands the grind, the glory, and the heartbreak of professional tennis. Their relationship is built on discipline, trust, and emotion. When Alcaraz won his first Grand Slam at the 2022 US Open, Ferrero stood courtside with tears in his eyes, not just proud, but connected. So when fans learned Ferrero was set to rejoin Alcaraz's camp next Friday, just before Riyadh, it felt like the calm after the storm. The master and the protege were finally back together. So what exactly is this Six Kings Slam in Riyadh, and why does it matter? Scheduled from October 15th to October 18th, the Six Kings Slam is an exhibition event like no other, bringing together 6 of the biggest names in men's tennis for a series of elite matchups in Saudi Arabia. It's not just about prize money or entertainment. It's about legacy, exposure, and the growing global reach of tennis. For Alcaraz, it's the perfect comeback stage. No ranking pressure, but high visibility. No ATP points, but plenty of prestige. And perhaps most importantly, a test of fitness before the Paris Masters and ATP finals. Ferrero confirmed the news indirectly through a Reddit post that spread like wildfire. The message? Carlos is preparing for the Six Kings Slam. I'll be with him next week. Just like that, fans knew the comeback plan was set. So what's next for Alcaraz after Riyadh? Ferrero has laid it out clearly. After the Six Kings Slam, Alcaraz will focus on the Paris Masters, scheduled from October 27th to November 2nd. It's the last Masters 1000 event of the season, and one where Alcaraz has unfinished business. He's never lifted that trophy, and with Novak Djokovic, Jannik Sinner, and Daniil Medvedev all vying for year-end dominance, Paris is shaping up to be an epic showdown. But the journey doesn't stop there. Beyond Paris lies Turin, Italy, the stage for the ATP Finals, from November 9th to 16th. It's the ultimate test, the best of the best, fighting for the final crown of the year. Alcaraz knows this is where legends are made. If he stays healthy, he could finish 2025 with 10 titles, including 2 Grand Slams, multiple Masters, and a dominant year-end number 1 finish. That's not just a great season. That's one of the best seasons in modern tennis history. Let's take a step back and appreciate what Alcaraz has already achieved in 2025. This year alone, he's lifted 8 titles, including 2 Grand Slams, the French Open and the US Open. And guess who he beat in both finals? That's right, Jannik Sinner. Their rivalry has become the heartbeat of men's tennis. It's Rafa versus Roger, Novak versus Andy, but with a Gen Z twist. They're fierce competitors, close friends, and mutual motivators. Every time they meet, it feels like a glimpse into the future of the sport. At Roland Garros, Alcaraz outlasted Sinner in a 5-set thriller, his raw power and athleticism meeting Sinner's precision and calm. At the US Open, he did it again, this time with confidence, flair, and the hunger of a champion. That victory didn't just give him his 6th Grand Slam. It reclaimed his world #1 ranking. And perhaps most importantly, it reasserted his place as the face of tennis' new era. But what makes Alcaraz special isn't just his trophies. It's his mentality. When he first arrived on tour, fans called him the next Nadal. Now he's something else entirely, a blend of Federer's touch, Nadal's fight, and Djokovic's strategy, wrapped in a fearless new package. He's aggressive yet humble, intense yet joyful. He smiles after break points. He plays drop shots on match point. He makes the impossible look fun. And Ferrero has been key in nurturing that balance. At the J.C. Ferrero Equalite Tennis Academy in Villena, Spain, their training sessions are legendary. No shortcuts, no excuses, just pure, focused work. It's where Ferrero drilled discipline into Alcaraz's raw talent, where he taught him that greatness isn't just about highlight reels. It's about consistency, composure, and character. That's why this duo works. It's not coach and player, it's mentor and heir. But while Ferrero gets much of the spotlight, Samuel Lopez deserves credit too. As the second coach, Lopez has helped manage Alcaraz's schedule, recovery, and tactical adjustments during Ferrero's absence. He's the same man who guided Pablo Carreño Busta to a Masters title, and his expertise in match strategy has been invaluable. When Ferrero was away for personal reasons earlier this season, Lopez stepped up seamlessly. He coached Alcaraz through the Tokyo and Laver Cup runs, ensuring the team remained cohesive. Now, with Ferrero returning to the fold, it's a complete unit again, and that's dangerous news for the rest of the ATP Tour. Let's not forget what Alcaraz has done in just 4 years. 2022 US Open, the breakthrough. 2023 Wimbledon, dethroning Novak Djokovic on grass. 2024 Australian Open and Wimbledon, doubling down. 2025 French Open and US Open, solidifying greatness. 6 Grand Slams. At just 22 years old. To put that into perspective, Nadal had 3 at that age. Federer had none. Djokovic had 1. Alcaraz isn't just following in their footsteps, he's outpacing them. But with great intensity comes great risk. And that's been the recurring theme of Alcaraz's journey, knowing when to stop. Ferrero has always been protective of his student. When the left ankle injury surfaced, he insisted they skip Shanghai to avoid long-term damage. It was the right call. In a season where fatigue and scheduling have broken down many top players, Alcaraz's decision to rest shows maturity and a long-term vision for his career. After all, what's one Masters event when you're building a legacy for decades? The announcement of Alcaraz's next move set social media ablaze. From Reddit threads to X, fans celebrated his comeback to form. "Can't wait to see Carlitos in Riyadh," one fan wrote. Another said, "This duo, Ferrero and Alcaraz, is tennis perfection." And they're right. With Ferrero back by his side, Alcaraz's confidence is peaking again. Riyadh will be the testing ground, Paris the proving ground, and Turin the crowning moment. If he conquers all 3, we might just be witnessing the greatest single-season run since Novak Djokovic's 2015 or Roger Federer's 2006. As the 2025 season nears its end, one thing is clear. Carlos Alcaraz isn't chasing shadows. He's creating his own. He's redefining what the next generation of tennis looks like: fearless, global, and inspiring. And with Ferrero back at the helm, this story feels poetic, a young phenom guided by a wise champion, writing new chapters in tennis history. The world will be watching Riyadh, because this isn't just about recovery, it's about resurgence. And that's the latest on Carlos Alcaraz's schedule update. The 6 Kings Slam confirmation, Ferrero's return, and the roadmap toward Paris and Turin. From injury scares to title streaks, one thing's for sure. The story of Carlos Alcaraz and Juan Carlos Ferrero isn't slowing down any